They say it's better to regret something you have done than to regret something you haven't done. But what if you dropped all of your regrets? Would that make you a cold, irresponsible human being or something completely different? That's what we're going to take a look at today. Coming up. Welcome to the Power of Quiet. Now, before we jump into today's topic, I want to talk about something that just warms my heart, and that is my gratitude for you. Now, it's been almost a year since I launched the Power of Quiet, and when I did it, it was literally against all odds. But in my heart, I knew it was the right thing to do, so I just followed my heart and I took that leap of faith. And over the past year, it has been absolutely amazing. And it's been so fun to bring this work out in a modern way and bring it out in a way that will enable it to spread even further. So for those of you who have stopped by this channel, and those of you who have subscribed, and those of you who have joined in on our classes and retreats, I seriously thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share this with you. All right, so now let's take a look at regrets. And this is relevant to what I was just sharing here, because when I started this project, it had a high likelihood of failure. But one thing that pushed me to go ahead and jump in and do this anyway is something that Lester Levinson said, is that wrong action is better than taking no action at all, because taking no action leads to paralysis. Whereas if you take wrong action, that gives you the opportunity to learn what the right action is. Now, another thing that paralyzes us and prevents us from taking action is regrets. These things that we look back upon our life that we regret, things that we regret that we've done, and things we regret that we haven't done. And here's the thing, as long as we're holding these things in mind, we're stuck in the past. And that prevents us from moving forward to realizing our highest dreams. So let's just take a look at regrets. Take a look at something that you regret. Something you regret, maybe it's something that you've done, and maybe you have a good reason for regretting it. Maybe you hurt somebody, or you got hurt. Or maybe it's something that you haven't done, and you wished you would have taken that opportunity, and you're kicking yourself now for it. Now, looking at that regret, how does that help you? It doesn't. And yet, that regret in this moment is just a feeling. Now get in touch with that feeling of regret. It's like that heartache or ugh. And just get in touch with that feeling now. And allow yourself to feel it. And as you're feeling this feeling, you could even set that whole story aside. It's just a story. You have the story, but you also have this feeling here. Just focus on the feeling. And if you measure this feeling of regret, you measured it on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most regretful, 0 being the least regretful. Just measure, see where you're at. And notice when you're experiencing this regret, when it comes up, you don't like it. And we all have a tendency, when these negative feelings and experiences to come up, to want to say no to them. Say, get out of here. I don't need you. I don't want to feel you. And we push them down. But when we push them down, we actually hold on to them. But instead of that, instead of saying no to that regret, because saying no to it doesn't make that regret go away, it doesn't change anything, let's try something different. Instead now, can you look at that regret, that feeling, and say yes to it? Try it out. And could you say yes to that feeling of regret even more? And could you say yes to it even more? Just say yes to it. That's it. Y-E-S. Could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Just say yes to it. It's just a feeling. And can you say yes to it even more? Now, notice how you feel. See if you feel lighter. And see if you moved on that scale. Maybe you're at an 8, and now you move down to a 5 or a 2 or even a 0. Just notice if you moved. And that's showing you that you're moving in the right direction here. And that you can let go of that negativity. Now, take a look to see if you've been beating yourself up for deciding the wrong thing in the past. And how does that help you to beat yourself up over it? Is that going to change anything? No. And who's doing it? Who's in charge here? You are. You're beating yourself up. And here's the thing. If you're doing it and it's not getting you any more positive, then you can make a decision now. I'm going to either beat myself up and be all negative, or I decide to love myself and get positive. What do you decide? Now, could you let go of beating yourself up? Even if it's just a little bit, could you let a little bit of it go? And could you let go of beating yourself up a little bit more? And could you let go of beating yourself up even more? And could you let that go even more? And could you let that go even more? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And notice how you feel now. Just see if you feel lighter. That's all we're looking for, is a lighter feeling. Now, can you decide to love yourself despite whatever happened in the past? Could you love yourself anyway? For no reason, just because. And could you give yourself a little bit of love and approval? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. And notice how you feel now. Now see if you feel more peaceful about the whole thing and more positive. Again, that's all we're looking for. It's just that lighter feeling. Now, just take a look at that story of whatever it was that happened in the past. Now, whatever that was, it's in the past. And you are here right now. And how does it help you now to hold that story in your mind? How does it help you to have your mind reminding you of whatever past mistake that you made? It doesn't help you. And it's just a story that's running in your mind. And you're in charge of that mind. You're the owner here. So now just get a picture of that story, whatever that looks like to you. And if it helps you to close your eyes, you can close your eyes to just focus in on it and just get that picture of whatever it was that happened. And since it's your mind that you're picturing this in, now, can you allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve? Just imagine it evaporating and dissolving away. And could you allow it to evaporate and dissolve even more? And even more. and even more, and even more. And could you allow it to evaporate and dissolve even more, and even more. And just imagine the whole thing disappearing. And notice what you're experiencing now. Just see if you feel free, untethered, and more able to take positive action now without being weighed down by the past. You notice that? And this is how easy it is for you to shift your consciousness and see things from a whole different perspective now. Easy. All right? Now, I want to address something else that comes up with this topic of regrets, and that is, what is the proper thing to do? Because we have it in our mind that it's good to have regrets because otherwise you won't be socially responsible. You'll just walk all over other people. You'll just take a dump everywhere and then not even care. But that isn't true, is it? Especially with what you're experiencing now. What happened when you let go of the regret? You just feel lighter. You see, when you're regretting something, maybe you did something bad to somebody, and I know I've done plenty of things I'm not proud of. But when you're holding that in mind, does that help the other person? For you to feel bad about it? Doesn't help them at all. And it doesn't help you at all. It doesn't change your behavior, your actions, because they already happened. They're in the past. And by holding it in mind, actually what you're doing is because the mind is creative, you're setting yourself up to recreate it again and again. But when you let go of the regret, notice you feel lighter. That lighter feeling is your inner love coming out. And that can only be good for you, for the other, for the whole world. To let your love just flow. And that's what we're talking about here. Just letting the love flow. All right? So practice this. And use this to just find everything that you're regretting. Just see how silly it is to keep holding that in mind. Because all that is just wanting to change the past. Guess what? It's in the past. You can't change it. And that's what's keeping yourself stuck. So keep practicing this so you can unstick yourself. Oh, and I've got a special announcement to make. This here is going to be my last video that I'm shooting here in Philadelphia because in a couple of weeks I'm moving. I'm moving to Amsterdam, which is one of my favorite cities, and I have lots of wonderful friends there, so I'm really super excited. I'm looking forward to this transition. This is something that I've been interested in for quite a while, but a couple months ago I got serious about it. I set a goal, and now it's happening. So I'm going to do my best to keep the content flowing into this channel as the move is happening. But probably the next time you'll see me, it'll be from the other side. So until then, keep it up. And if this is good for you, remember to hit like and remember to hit subscribe and keep it up. Keep letting go and getting positive. And I'll see you soon.